I want to talk a bit about how to learn from YouTubers the right way. So, I like to think my channel is a useful learning resource, but I'm concerned y'all are taking the wrong lessons from it. And not just my channel, many others on YouTube too. This doesn't just apply for tech, I think this applies in general. The first thing you need to understand about learning from YouTubers is you're learning about how they think, not about what is right and wrong. When I talk about technologies and things I like on stream, that's not because they're absolutely 100% the best and only thing you should do. It's me presenting how I think about these things and the solutions that have worked for me based on the problems that I have. So the first thing you should look for is YouTubers who have problems that overlap with yours. If you want to do better in competitive Pokemon, find some other people who do well in competitive Pokemon. If you want to build dynamic web apps and work places like Twitch or Ping or YouTube or Twitter, hang out places like here and talk to YouTubers like me, and you'll start learning a lot about the things you need to learn about. But don't think everything we say is gospel. I disagree with just as many engineers in my space as I agree with. And I find that most engineers are kind of in that boat. We all have our opinions and our way of thinking about things. This is where point 2 comes in. You should learn about how we think. The best thing you can take away from any YouTube channel is the ways in which the YouTuber who's making the content thinks and learns. How do I come to the conclusions I come to? Where do I get the ideas I get? And how do I use those to solve problems? I try to talk about these things in my videos, and I think it's often misunderstood. One video that, God, I don't think any video I've done has ever been quite as misunderstood as my unit testing video. This video. I think that there is a character being missed when people read this title a lot. It says right there, why I don't unit test. I made this video because I personally have reasons why the projects I am working on don't make sense for unit testing. That doesn't mean no one should unit test. It means that I think unit tests are not always necessary, and I think they're recommended too much. My take is something you can take alongside other people's stances, even watching the debate I had with Primogen about this topic, and you can use this information to come to your own nuanced or maybe more extreme understandings. My channel is a source of ways to think about problems and a bunch of random sources that I share here as well for you to make better decisions. Sometimes those better decisions are more wrong, which might feel really weird because how is it better if it's more wrong? Because the more wrong answer lets you figure out it's wrong faster. If an answer is only kind of wrong, that sucks because it takes way longer to realize how wrong that answer is. And the sooner you can run into problems and realize the solution you had was wrong, the better. And a lot of my advice is structured in that way. It's recommending the simplest, stupidest possible thing for as long as possible and seeing how far you can get with it, because that will always be how you move fastest. And I firmly believe that. But again, I am just another voice for you to listen to and take information from. Ultimately, my goal with this YouTube channel was to replace the cooler side conversations I had when I worked at Twitch for 5 years. There's something special about sitting in a room when you're a new engineer with two principals who have been coding for longer than you've been alive, talking about something you barely understand, picking up every word you can, occasionally sneaking in a question, and just 100xing the speed you're learning at. Most of what I talk about should go over your head. A lot of the things I do here should make no sense, and you should hate a few of my stances. If you're in some or all of those boats, you're using my channel correctly. Your goal should not be to fully align yourself with a specific person and their way of thinking. Your goal should be to take advantage of the knowledge and ways of thinking all of us creators are sharing so you can apply them to the problems you have to make yourself more effective at whatever the hell you want to do. My videos aren't gospel. I'm not writing a blog post about why you should only ever use X, Y, and Z. I am sharing these things that work for me and the awesome things they do and explaining, sometimes grandiosely, why I don't like other things in the space for the problems that I have. Take everything you hear with the understanding of who the person is sharing it and the problems they have, and understand that everyone's stances, especially those successful enough to do well on YouTube and in corporations as engineers, They all have their stances for a reason. And if you don't agree with their stance, try to figure out the reason. What's the point of disagreement that leads to me having a different stance than you on GraphQL or unit testing? Where does the tree break apart? I think when you look for the answer to that question, you're going to be much more satisfied with the info you get from all of these different sources. Anyways, sorry for this rant. I'm just, to be frank, annoyed at how people are taking some of my content. The goal here is to present extremes that I experience, not to tell everybody to throw away something. Except for pre-commit hooks, those are always bad. Appreciate y'all a ton. YouTube seems to think you're going to like the video there, so give that a click if you haven't. And why haven't you subbed? Only half of you have. Why the hell are you watching this if you haven't subbed? Come on, hit that button. Subscriptions are free. They help the channel out a ton. Thank you.